A public execution, dressed up as a gala. Sebastian forces me to serve drinks in a 5-year-old dress. He wants to see me break. I only hear the clock ticking down. Babe, look at her. Is that vintage? Or does she just look like a beggar?
Let her serve. It's the only thing she's good for.
Laughter floods the room. I lowered my head to hide the ice in my eyes. I'm waiting for him to keep his promise. Here he comes. The room temperature drops. Northern chill. Lucian Black and his guard crash in. Wolves in a sheep pen. My heart hammers. He hasn't changed. Still devastatingly handsome. And the memory wakes up with him, that insane full moon night we shared. The secret I never told a soul. Sebastian puts down his drink, wary. Why is Lucian here? This is a Blackwood gala. What do the Northern Wolves want? Lucian ignores him completely. He walks straight to me, his alpha pheromones hitting me like a wave.
I'm here to collect a debt. This woman owes me.
He looks at me like prey. Good. He's playing along. I'm the victim who can't pay up, not the accomplice. He yanks me roughly into his arms, but in that split second, I feel it. His rough hand cradling the back of my head.
Since Sebastian tossed you out, you're coming north with me to work off your debt.
No. Sebastian, help me! I can't go north! It's a death sentence!
Let her go. She's trash, but she's my trash.
He thinks he's protecting me. It's laughable. I can't believe this man is my alpha. Pathetic. But mission accomplished. Seeing the two alphas at each other's throats, I bury my face in Lucian's hard chest, just to hide my smirk. Hook, line, and sinker. Next move. Destroying a mistress doesn't take force. Just a seed of doubt. Outside the clinic, I accidentally swiped open my phone, revealing a photo I stole from the study. It was a trust document. I made sure she saw the name under trustee, Reed, my maiden name. I leaned in and asked, sincerely, did Sebastian sign the $100 million heirs trust for you yet? Shut up! Get that phone out of my face. He said it's processing. That money is mine. I watched her face twist with greed. She's hooked. There is no process. As the true matriarch heir, I froze that money yesterday. I just needed her to see those words. Her own greed will do the rest of the work for me. As expected, Sebastian exploded. Tiffany's interrogation bruised his ego, and I played the perfect victim on my knees, the dutiful wife begging to leave.
What poison did you drip in her ear? Trying to run? To your wild man in the north? No way.
He drags me to the basement. He doesn't realize. My tears are fake, but the calculation in my eyes is real. He just handed me the perfect legal excuse. Unlawful imprisonment and imminent danger.
Rot in here until you die. Repent for your sins.
3 a.m. General Wolf's men cut the grid. I hop the wall and jump into the black SUV waiting in the shadows. The cabin smells of cedar wood and blood. Lucian says nothing. He wipes the blood from my lip, his eyes dark.
Just say the word, and I'll go back and kill him right now.
My heart hammered, but I pushed him away. I rejected the offer. Death is too easy. I want his kingdom. No, my kingdom. Goodbye, ex-husband. Next time we meet, bring a coffin.
Eleanor thinks she's a master con artist, using me to terrify Sebastian.
Watching her cower in my arms like a frightened rabbit at the gala.
Then wink at me when no one was looking. God knows it took everything I had not to throw her over my shoulder right there. Does she realize? The best hunter always appears as prey. That full moon night 10 years ago, in the snow, when her hands shook as she bandaged my wounds, I made a vow. Her life is mine. Tonight, she came, wrapped in my towel, smelling like temptation. 10 minutes ago, she even sent her location to Sebastian. She wants to use me as a weapon. Done acting? Eleanor. You want to use me to humiliate him? Fine, but you should know. This knife is expensive. I'm a wolf, not a dog. My payment is more than just a performance. Her breath hitches, but she plays it cool. Says it's just business, tells me not to cross the line. I'm crossing it. He's here. Headlights cut through the rain. The idiot ex-husband who called her frigid is standing in the storm, staring at this window like a drowned rat. Shh. He's watching our silhouettes. Eleanor, scream for him. show him exactly what he lost. Her hands push against my chest, but her body arches into mine, exposing her throat. Is she acting for him or falling for me? Even I can't tell. Good girl. That's it. Let's keep him insane and keep everyone else guessing.
Lucian's body heat is terrifying. A wildfire meant to consume everything it touches. Through the rain-streaked glass, I see Sebastian drop to his knees at the gates. He's unraveling. He's breaking. And right under his gaze, I slowly pull my silk robe back over my shoulder, the one Lucian just tore halfway off. It feels filthy. It feels divine. He pushed me into the abyss, only to find the king of hell is my loyal wolf.
Eleanor, you think this is revenge? You just jumped from one cage to another. Come home. You're still Mrs. Blackwood.
Mrs. Blackwood? That title is nothing but a synonym for shame, imprisonment, and licking floors. He still doesn't realize that the second he cut the bond, I cease to have a home.
If you dare call her by that filthy last name again, I'll tear your tongue out. Her last name is Reed.
I feel something waking up inside me. A primal power from the Reed bloodline, dormant for decades, finally stirring to life. I look at Sebastian. He's drowning in jealousy and terror. He's not afraid of my betrayal. He's afraid I'll realize I deserve a real alpha.
Eleanor, you think a new bed makes you a queen? Wake up. You're a defect. A barren bitch who can't give him an heir.
Barren. He spat that word at me for 5 years. In this man's world, an infertile Luna is a curse.
Lucian will tire of you soon. Once he realizes you're just a barren field, he'll leave you to rot.
Lucian's hand rests on my shoulder. He covers my ears, shielding me from the barking. And suddenly, I smelled it. Cedar and amber, the wolf scent, the very thing Sebastian said I'd never sense in a lifetime. But more than that, I smell rot on Sebastian. Something old, decaying, and dying.
Guards, throw him out.
I'll kill you, you bastard. Eleanor belongs to me.
The yelling outside finally faded, but the real storm was just beginning. Back there with Sebastian, Lucian was an elegant executioner. But now, seeing the old bruises my ex-husband left me, the cheap, torn stockings from my escape, his restraint shattered. He was a beast guarding his food, examining his tainted offering. He ripped off my soaked stockings, rough and impatient. His calloused fingers were burning, trailing up my ankle inch by inch. The touch was pure, suffocating possession. I flinched instinctively, trying to push him away. He caught the back of my neck.
Eleanor, don't look at me like that. To you, he was everything. To me, he's just the trash I've spent 10 years wanting to shred.
10 years? I didn't understand why he said 10 years. Until he swept me into his arms and kicked open the heavy oak door at the end of the hall. When the lights flickered on, my breath hitched. This was the Reed family estate I hadn't seen in 10 years. But this room, the wallpaper pattern, the chipped oak vanity, even the velvet blanket I thought was destroyed long ago, identical. This was my bedroom from the Reed estate. The one I left when I was 20. In that moment, it all made sense. He had been quietly gathering every piece of my past during this time, just to perfectly recreate that dream for me here in this long-lost estate. This almost obsessive attention to detail made my cold heart feel, for the first time, a warm, suffocating depth of affection. A photo from when I was 20, half burnt.
Welcome home, my queen.
I thought I was just borrowing a knife for revenge. But tonight, for the first time, I felt a loss of control, a delusion of falling for this loyal hound. Under the same storm, while Lucian and I stepped into a warm memory, Sebastian tumbled into the ice pit he dug himself. He returned to his mansion to find Tiffany directing the maids to throw out my clothes like garbage. He tried to snap at her, but the moment he exerted force, I can feel it. The moment I severed our mate bond, he lost his power source entirely. Without the nourishment of my bloodline, this fake alpha was like a crumbling clay statue. Soon, he didn't have time to worry about his body. He probably didn't realize that I'd been watching his every move in the study through the hidden cameras. His signature on the divorce papers made him the sole bearer of unlimited tax liability for the group. And the mines, already frozen by me, the rightful matriarch heir.
That bitch set me up! Drain all the company's liquid assets right now!
What does a desperate man need most? Submission and release, of course. Through the cold lens, I watched Tiffany slither up to him, trying to soothe the agitated wolf with cheap affection. But the greatest karma struck in the most intimate place. He realized with horror, without me, faced with this young, fresh body, he couldn't even perform. He felt absolutely nothing.
Get out! I said get out! Don't look at me with that pity.
That wasn't pity, Sebastian. That was the look of a parasite realizing its host is dying, preparing to flee. He looked in the mirror and found his first white hair since that $100 million slap. Even through the screen, I could smell the decay radiating off him. Meanwhile, the TV blared the Northern Wolf King, Lucian Black's press conference.
I am announcing a full lawsuit against the Blackwood Group. To the death.
Sebastian once crushed the wine-stained copy of the code under his boot at that humiliating gala, thinking he had trampled my trump card. But he didn't know that on my second day in the Reed estate, Lucian handed me the true, original matriarch code. A 200-year-old ancient vow, soaked in blood and fire. I skimmed it, searching for the clause to strip Sebastian's title, but I found something far more terrifying. On the back of the code, an alpha's power is not his own. It's more like a sacred entrustment of blood. I saw the shimmering ancient script. Only the purest matriarchal blood can awaken the legendary Imperial Double Heart. Once an alpha places himself above the mother, the contract automatically triggers recovery mode. I felt the scalding male body behind me, our shadows overlapping in the firelight.
He's bleeding you dry. Eleanor, all those years you were married to him, you weren't living. You were just his battery.
Turns out, the truth was buried right here, by his own hands. 5 years ago, Sebastian was so arrogant, he didn't even have the courage to open this report, simply stuffing it into this pile of scrap paper. I stared at this thin sheet of paper, letting out the coldest sneer of the last 5 years. He probably never imagined that what I hold now isn't just his shares, but his final, filthiest weakness. I don't plan to reveal it now. I'll keep this paper safe as the final card, to send him to hell. I sealed the letter and handed it to the confidant of General Wolf, whom I had secretly protected. He used to be Blackwood's strongest veteran, tossed aside like a stepping stone by Sebastian. Only one sentence in the letter. General, the false god of the Blackwood House is crumbling. Please, at tomorrow's shareholder meeting, give him the final push. In the late-night study of the old estate, the firelight flickered in the gloom. Lucian stood behind me, his warm fingers gently massaging my shoulders, tense from plotting for tomorrow's shareholder meeting.
Whether it's tomorrow's storm or any enemy in this world, I will be by your side to face them all.
I leaned into his arms, enjoying the last bit of peace before the storm. But I could feel it. Behind a cold computer screen, a pair of eyes full of spite and envy were watching our every move through the night. He probably forgot exactly how I escaped that house. While he's watching me, I'm behind the screen, enjoying his hysteria. But what appeared on screen was a terrace blooming with white flowers. I sat in a plush lounge chair, eyes closed, basking in the sun, and the Northern Wolf King he feared most was on one knee, gazing at me with extreme focus and gentleness as he trimmed my toenails. This was the invincible Lucian he treated like a terrifying enemy. This god-tier treatment, compared to when he ordered me to kneel and lick the floor, formed a tragic contrast.
How dare she? How does she deserve to be looked at like that?
What he couldn't stand wasn't Lucian's subservience. It was the look on my face. No pain, no resistance, just the relaxed composure of someone deeply adored. Like a true queen.
See clearly, Sebastian? The trash you discarded? Here with me. Every inch of her skin deserves a pilgrimage.
He slowly lowered his head and kissed my defenseless toe. In that very moment, Sebastian coughed up a mouthful of black blood from sheer rage. The werewolf healing ability he was so proud of failed. His wounds wouldn't close, instead emitting a nauseating stench. Even his true love wrinkled her nose the second she walked in and smelled the rotting flesh. That was the death knell of his mind and body being destroyed simultaneously. Sebastian thought that with expensive concealer and a bespoke three-piece suit, he could keep playing the invincible alpha. But he forgot. Wolf eyes aren't fooled by human cosmetics. The moment he walked into that room, not a single shareholder who used to bow to him even stood up. The suffocating alpha aura he once carried had vanished without a trace. Just as Sebastian tried to reclaim the floor with a roar, the doors burst open. General Wolf, the relic Sebastian had personally kicked out, appeared in his wheelchair, radiating a deadly chill. He didn't even look at Sebastian, instead projecting a debt transfer agreement onto the big screen. It was for 10% of Blackwood's shares, a transfer signed by the very veterans Sebastian had humiliated and discarded. And the trustee name? Mine, Eleanor Reed. While Sebastian stared at the document in shock, his phone rang. It was Tiffany, detained at the mall by the Northern Guard. The reason was simple. The jewelry she was wearing was all Reed family heritage, illegally seized property. In that moment, the dignity he fought so hard to maintain shattered completely. But that wasn't the killing blow. His CFO, pale as death, stumbled into the room, his voice echoing through the hall.
Mr. Blackwood, the bank seized all our listing deposits. The reason, bloodline credit default.
He finally realized that in this family, without my signature, he had to pay even for the air he breathed. There is a pain that goes to the soul. As Sebastian tried to step through those doors, his withered alpha core felt like a heavy weight dragging him back. The house arrest he once forced on me had become a biological prison his own body imposed on him. In front of everyone, his legs buckled as if the bones had been removed, and he knelt heavily in my direction in total humiliation. He thought he was just tired. He frantically swallowed blue and pink pills, trying to reclaim some scrap of his male pride. But before my doctor, all lies were laid bare.
Mr. Blackwood, because the mate bond was severed, your body has gone into lockdown. Your activity is 0.
The doctor closed the file, looking at him with the coldness reserved for industrial waste. A madman always drags someone down with him before the end. Sebastian pulled out a marriage addendum with a forged seal. He wanted to use a legal loophole to declare I was still his property and seize my shares. He smirked at the camera, like a rotting dog still trying to bite. Just as he was gloating over his plot, his phone lit up. An anonymous text. Cruelly simple. Are you sure the child in Tiffany's womb is yours? The seed of doubt is sown. Now, I'll watch them tear each other apart. Nights at the estate are long enough for all secrets to surface. Lucian's silhouette looked heavy in the firelight, those dense scars the metals of a man who crawled back from death. He didn't turn, but I could feel his breath rising and falling with my heartbeat.
Eleanor.
We spoke of 10 years ago. Of course I remembered that snowy night, and the dying man I bandaged with my own hands. But only today did I learn that the bastard kicked out of the Blackwood family that day, left to die like a stray dog, was actually him. He kept the coin I gave him, and never forgot the warm water I fed him, mixed with my matriarchal blood. He said it was the sweetest, most lethal thing he had ever tasted.
Every beat of this heart was given by you. Use me, but never leave me again.
In that moment, I felt him tremble. This Wolf King who ruled the North was as humble as a prisoner begging for love before me. I almost drowned in that destructive devotion. It was a deed. After confessing 10 years of devotion, he handed back the Reed estate, seized years ago to my hands. That was your beginning, Eleanor. Now, it will be the sanctuary of your coronation. Surrounded by this burning love, I had no idea this road home was leading straight into an endless sea of fire. A truly absurd circus. Sebastian hid in his lifeless mansion, using the stolen footage to continue monitoring my every move. And I sat on Lucian's lap, watching Sebastian's face twist with jealousy alongside him. Two men watching me, but only I knew who the real prey was. Sebastian watched me on screen. I wore Lucian's black shirt, my face flushed, as he tenderly fed me hot soup, while he curled up in that cold room where he once used to imprison me. Black blood seeping from his wounds, enduring Tiffany's disgusted glares when, self-mutilating in his envy, every wound reminded him he had lost me forever.
Watching? Your place is mine now. And this place no longer belongs to you.
Lucian leaned in and kissed my neck deeply, right in front of the camera. Then he crushed the hidden camera with one hand. The moment the screen went black, I heard Sebastian's final, beastly wail. Lucian looked at me with unprecedented seriousness.
Southern politics are just games, Eleanor. To truly wake the code in your veins, you must go north. For the baptism of frost.
He showed me the monitors. Leo was sleeping in the South's most secure clinic, surrounded by Lucian's elite guards.
He's safe here. Now, come with me.
I took his hand and boarded the helicopter to the north. A completely broken Sebastian, staring at the empty monitors, dialed a secret number.
Go destroy the Reed estate. Before they get too far, I want her to watch all her memories turn into ash.
Sebastian thought he was burning my past, but he just personally lit his own death knell. To become strong, I must die once. Sebastian thinks sending men to burn my old home will break me. Years ago, he took advantage of the tragedy that left my brother Leo crippled, using the care of my only kin as leverage to force me into signing that marriage contract. Lucian took me away from those ruins overnight, crossing the border directly to his true domain, the snow-covered north. I know that to become strong, I must die once. Sebastian doesn't know that stones are just stones, and true matriarchal awakening never comes from a gift. It comes from the abyss. In this lake, cold enough to kill an alpha, lies the primal wolf breath of my ancestors.
Don't go down! Don't go down there!
The moment the ice water rose over my chest, my heart nearly stopped. Lucian wanted to charge in, but I pinned him in place with a single look. As my body sank, I heard them, the sighs of female ancestors under the ice. Those who refused mediocrity and were suppressed by patriarchy for centuries. Don't lower your head, daughter. Your crown never vanished. In that moment, I felt the purple gold fire coursing through my veins. The cold retreated instantly, replaced by a wild power capable of dominating all. I opened my eyes, a queen's radiance shining in my pupils. I heard Lucian's racing heart and felt the tremor from the depths of his soul. As a top-tier alpha, through our mate bond, he sensed that divine double rhythm inside me that defied the laws of nature. Sebastian, wash your neck and wait. I'll make you watch with your own eyes as you personally destroy your pathetic throne. The moment I stepped out of the ice lake, I was the sole judge of this land. Sebastian thought burning the Reed estate would crush me, not knowing he incinerated Lucian's only sanctuary in this world. Now, Lucian stands behind me, his golden eyes boiling with a killing intent even more feral than mine. I led the Northern Iron Cavalry back to the south, back to the heart of power, to build a new order upon those very ashes.
See that, Eleanor? This is what happens when you betray me. Your past is nothing but a pile of ash now.
I looked at his twisted face, feeling absolutely nothing. He was celebrating the burning of a few bricks, unaware that death was already standing behind him. Since you love fire so much, let's see if you can put this one out. It was the blank clause I intentionally left in that divorce agreement. Driven by extreme ego and greed, he personally signed that unlimited tax liability agreement. In that moment, that blank space became the guillotine over his head. Sebastian, I may no longer have a past, but from this second, you won't even have a future. Sebastian thought he escaped the police, but he didn't realize the real police were lurking in his blood. Because he burned the house, the symbol of the matriarchal roots, the code's wrath exploded inside him. This isn't just the weakness of a severed mate bond. It's a biological eviction. This accelerated decay, triggered by desecrating ancestral grounds, made him look like melting scrap metal. And now, the fatal blow comes from his only true love. Tiffany waited until he was collapsed in pain to steal the ruby family ring he always wore. Without the ring, he lost the only key to his secret overseas reserves.
Come back! Give me back the ring! It's my life! Tiffany!
He wanted to roar, to project his alpha dominance. But his vocal cords had shriveled from the code's backlash. His voice was weaker than a frightened kitten. His proud vitality was leaking out with every breath. I watched him through the monitor, crawling on the floor like an insect. Sebastian, by burning my home, you've completely uprooted yourself.
Now, I've cut you off.
I thought Lucian recreated that room because he pitied what I went through before and wanted to give me a late salvation. But until I stepped into this deeper room and saw the walls of observation diaries, I realized how wrong I was. Those yellowed pages meticulously recorded every minute of my pain from the past. He didn't just watch me suffer. He accurately predicted in his diaries exactly when I would finally break. If that cozy room was him showing love, then right now I've finally touched the poison beneath his obsessive devotion. He had countless chances to save me sooner, but he chose to stand by, waiting for Sebastian to trample my dignity into nothing, so he could step in as my only savior and rightfully lock me into his territory.
Only when you've completely given up on him will your eyes finally hold my shadow.
This fear of being watched and calculated almost suffocated me, but it also gave me the perfect chance to strike back. Since he has this near-destructive obsession with me, that obsession is the collar in my hands. Since you've watched me for so long, now it's your turn to listen to me. He drowned in my kiss, never noticing that he had personally handed the reins of his control into my hands. If he wants to play this rescue game, then I'll be the one setting the rules. Lucian, now you're my prey. Last night, I took the reins of Lucian's control. Today, I'll use this absolute northern power to see Sebastian off one last time. Sebastian is now a wanted fugitive, but I knew he would risk everything to return to this press conference. He's gambling, betting on that forged marriage addendum and a public pregnancy announcement to force the police to drop the charges. He thinks the child is his trump card, unaware that every camera is already zeroing in on his deathly face. That was Tiffany's thank you gift to him. A full-scale exhibition of an alpha's pathetic loss of virility. The legal trial may take time, but the social execution ends today.
Turn it off! I have an heir! Eleanor is carrying my firstborn. That is the future of the Blackwood house.
I walked onto the stage with a cold smile, slamming the infertility diagnosis onto his face. Stop acting! You don't even have seeds. Where's an heir coming from?
That's a fake report. Tiffany is carrying my seed right now. That child is the ultimate proof of my alpha status. It's my life.
He's still desperately kissing a phantom that doesn't exist. He probably hasn't noticed that a second ago, his true love slipped out the back door. At that very moment, the second stage of the code's curse descended. This biological death sentence was more hopeless than killing him. Sebastian is a madman. Despite losing everything at the press conference, he used the last high-interest loans from the Blackwood clan elders to throw this recovery gala. He even maniacally demanded my attendance, clinging to that forged agreement. He thinks he's still pulling my strings, unaware that I'm only here for a front-row seat to watch him finally fall from grace.
Don't think you've won, Eleanor. Just play along tonight, and I might still let you be Mrs. Blackwood.
I looked at his face, twitching from suppressed pain, and felt only pity. He hasn't realized that when an alpha relies on drugs and lies to maintain decorum, he's already dead on his throne. He's here, the variable I've been waiting for. Lucian shredded my command to wait outside because he can't stand any male touching my skin, not even for a second.
Get your filthy hands off her. She's mine.
Lucian swept me up like war prize, heading straight for the rain outside. I looked back. Sebastian was scrambling up from the broken glass, his eyes flashing with one last suicidal madness. Lucian, speed up! The rabid dog is about to bite! Lucian just snatched me from the gala. That was my command to him. This is my hunting ground. You wait outside. But he clearly lost it. The moment he saw Sebastian pawing at me, he shredded every rule and shoved me into the car like stolen prey.
Don't look back, Ellen. peek at me.
Sebastian has nothing left, so he wants to drag us to hell with him. But he can't keep up. At the end of this rain screen lies the northern border, a forbidden zone he can never enter. Inside, Lucian's eyes are more dangerous than the storm outside. For 10 years, he's been my shadow. But now, the shadow wants to consume the light. If you want to consume me, then do it. Mark me. Now. I know what he's thinking. He's waiting for me to beg, waiting for me to surrender completely. But I won't. I want him to realize, even as he possesses me, that I am the one allowing him in. The sound of rationality snapping, it's music.
Fuck being a gentleman. Tonight, she is mine.
Last night's passion tamed Lucian into a gentle beast, but he underestimated just how low scum would stoop. Sebastian is rotting in the shadows of the south, but he still conspired with those corrupt elders to ship Leo to the savage north, planning to trade my brother's life for their lost power. He truly intended to throw my brother Leo to the wolves in the north, but he didn't expect Tiffany to go rogue. Now she only wants to avenge herself by torturing my only kin.
Eleanor, I have nothing left, so I'll make sure you suffer too. Sebastian was the mastermind who had your brother's legs crushed. He hired men to do it just to force you into marrying him. Bet you never saw that coming.
In that moment, I felt the blood in my veins freeze. It turns out everything was built on a blood debt so despicable it defied belief. And now he even wants Leo's life. Sebastian finally crossed my last line. Lucian, lend me your blade, but don't do the killing for me. If I always rely on him, I'll always just be the Wolf King's woman. I want that blood to splatter on my crown by my own hand.
If you don't come back, I'll burn this entire forest to ash to bury with you.
I looked at that mark and stepped into the deepest shadows of the north without looking back. They smelled Lucian's mark on me, triggering their most primal brutality. They thought I was a lost lamb, not realizing they were facing a nightmare, lost to this race for 200 years.
You genetic defect who can't even smell a wolf.
No one can save you here.
I didn't look at her. I just glanced down at the bite mark Lucian left on my wrist. It's time. In that moment, every rebel wolf fell to their knees instinctively, trembling with fear. Absolute suppression from the very depth of bloodlines. I snatched the knife from Tiffany and cut the stolen reed necklace from her neck like slicing through a weed. Since it doesn't belong to you, wearing it will only rot your fingers. She probably didn't know that while Discerine was indeed the key, all Blackwood accounts had been locked globally due to credit default. The moment I severed the bond, what she stole was nothing but a heavy, useless piece of scrap metal.
Sister, you have 2 hearts beating.
2 hearts? That's the legendary double-hearted heir. Only possible when the divine matriarchal blood awakens. Sebastian has finally reached this day. Loaded with debt and warrants, he was caught by his creditors and thrown into this filthiest of black markets. His once proud 36-year-old alpha body is now shriveled, aged, and reeks from drug backlash.
I am the master of the Blackwood house! Save me! I will repay you!
No one listened. In their eyes, he wasn't a man anymore, just scrap metal with no bone left.
Starting bid, $1. Anyone want this piece of trash? Done deal.
Once he used $100 million to buy my dignity. Now, I've bought his remaining life for $1. This is my final offer to him. He has no idea where he's going. He's going exactly where he threatened to throw me and Leo, the northern Packlands. Sebastian, welcome to your hell. Sebastian's current job is to prune my favorite white roses every day. Every thorn is like an injustice I once endured, now digging into his fingernails. He's forced to look up at the massive floor-to-ceiling windows on the second floor, a dream once out of his reach. This time, I didn't draw the curtains. I want him to see exactly how a real alpha cherishes me. Lucian knows he's watching, so he purposefully leans down and kisses my slightly rounded belly.
No! That should be mine! That child should be my heir!
I opened the window and tossed down a yellowed medical report. Not the one from the gala, but an older truth, sealed by time. The truth he arrogantly refused to even open, tossing it aside before our wedding, formerly.
I found it.
I won't.
Back then, he didn't even deign to glance at the report, deciding that the failure to produce an heir was entirely the fault of a defect like me.
This is all your fault.
It turns out the one who couldn't have children was never me. It was him. This had nothing to do with severing the mate bond. He was born a defect. In his ridiculous arrogance, he didn't even have the desire to glance at the medical report back then. Yet he personally destroyed the only soil that could have sustained him. Sebastian, this is your final karma. Watching him crumble inch by inch in the mud, I felt only pity. The divine bloodline he was so proud of was nothing but a farce from the very beginning. He fought to hold on to a shred of self-respect, but that former medical report was like a silent, heavy slap, completely shattering his illusions of being an alpha. A man who can't even produce a seed? What future is there to talk about? He's not alone in hell. I sent his beloved Tiffany to join him. This once invincible, true love is now covered in sores, lower than the lowliest laborer.
If I'm sterile, then whose seed is in your womb? Speak.
Seed? A monster who isn't even a man doesn't deserve a seed. That was cotton. Silicone to cheat you out of your money. And look at you now. Where is the alpha? You can't even produce an heir. And even your proud power was sucked from Eleanor's blood. From start to finish, you've always been a spineless coward hiding behind a woman.
Watching that silicone belly roll in the mud and hearing Tiffany's ultimate trampling of his masculinity, Sebastian's last thread of sanity snapped completely. They once conspired to deceive me. Now they can only perform this dog-eat-dog sideshow in the mud. Lucian wrapped his arms around my waist, resting his chin on my shoulder as we enjoyed this ridiculous comedy together.
Keep fighting. Whoever wins gets an extra piece of moldy bread tonight.
While Sebastian was still groveling in the mud for a piece of bread, I was experiencing the most sacred moment of my life. This sound used to exist only in ancient legends. Two hearts resonating at the same frequency. Every werewolf who hears it feels a soul-deep shiver and the urge to surrender. The heartbeat pierced through the walls and reached that filthy corner of the garden. Sebastian froze. His half-rotted heart nearly split under the pressure of the double heart. This is divine right. Without lifting a finger, it suffocates inferior genes like his.
Eleanor, I thought I possessed you. Only now do I know. I was chosen by your body.
He bowed before me, no longer as a man, but as a guardian. Sebastian, do you hear it? That's the sound of an heir. Too bad his name is Reed, not Blackwood. Sebastian's collapse was just the beginning of the day's storms. In the clan hall, the Northern elders were waiting to strike at me. The Northern traditionalists are trying to use tradition to steal my child. They want an obedient puppet, not a sovereign queen. In the werewolf world, an alpha's knees belong only to death and the sky. But tonight, before tens of thousands of clansmen, Lucian personally shredded that ridiculous alpha pride.
From today, there is no Wolf King in the North. There is only the Queen and her Night's Watchman.
The hall was so silent you could hear a pin drop. He didn't just hand over power, he handed me his life. Looking at his face lifted towards me, full of deep devotion, I knew we had won this game of power. I took the seal, not a single tear of emotion in my eyes. Sebastian, look closely. This is how an alpha should act before a queen. And you're even losing the right to be my prisoner. With the military seal and the signet, this territory truly belongs to me. Lucian asked me how to handle the pests in the ruins. I said, instead of granting them death, I'd rather watch them spit out the last shred of their humanity. When a man loses status, wealth, and virility, the only thing left is the most primal instinct to survive. The true lovers who once conspired for 100 million are now shoving each other for a dry corner. Lucian smiled and said he wanted to see what their love was worth in the face of hunger.
It's mine. Get back, you bitch.
They fought until they were bloody, fingernails filled with each other's flesh and stinking black mud. In that moment, they had completely regressed into animals. Lucian and I held hands, quietly admiring this final karma we personally built for them. Sebastian, this is the survival of the fittest you always wanted. How does it feel? Sebastian, teeth clamped on that muddy bone, looked up at us on the balcony with nothing but pure animalistic terror. The fight in the mud was just the beginning of her despair. Desperate to survive, Tiffany dared to steal supplies right under the guards' noses. Tiffany finally tasted the sting of the old rules she so despised. She mocked the matriarch code as a relic. Now that relic is becoming the noose to hang her.
Sebastian, help me. Please, I stole it for you.
But that man just buried his head in his tattered suit, shrinking into the shadows. He was terrified the blade would fall on him next. I wasn't saving her. I simply opened the code and pointed to a line, mended with gold thread. If the offender is female, physical maiming shall be spared, but she shall be stripped of her name and exiled to the wasteland. As Tiffany was driven out, she looked back at Sebastian hiding in the shadows, her eyes filled with endless desolation. She was saved by the old morality she scorned, but utterly abandoned by the true love she trusted. Sebastian, you're pathetic. You don't even have the right to be forgiven by me. The storm that swallowed Tiffany finally turned into a bone-chilling cold. Winter has arrived. For a werewolf stripped of matriarchal nourishment, this isn't just cold. It's a death countdown. I looked at the shivering man before me. It's hard to believe he was once the elite alpha who would rage if his tie was even slightly crooked. Lucian, holding my shoulder, threw something at the man's feet. His favorite bespoke suit from before, now nothing but rags.
Save me. Eleanor, just a drop of your blood. Just a drop.
He thought I was here to offer deathbed comfort. Lucian didn't even bother drawing his sword. He just crushed Sebastian's hand with his boot, then used the tip of his blade to drape the ruined suit over him, as if covering a corpse that hadn't quite stopped breathing. Remember where you said you'd throw me and Leo? You said the Northern Pack. I leaned into Lucian's embrace, watching the gates slowly open. Now, we are throwing him into the same place. This suit is the last bit of dignity we'll give him, and his only shroud in this wasteland. He tumbled into the snow, clawing to crawl back, but Lucian ruthlessly pulled the iron gates shut in his face.
Sebastian, turn into an ice statue out there. It's the rest we grant you.
As the snow claimed its first sacrifice, the vultures in the shadows began to circle. Not everyone welcomes the new order. Those elders who cling to patriarchal dogmas and view women as mere tools are circling the wasteland like vultures smelling rot. They need an excuse, a tool to challenge the legitimacy of the double-hearted heir Lucian and I created together. They found him. With Lucian completely severing the South's funding, these old fools are at a dead end. The trash we completely discarded actually had value in their eyes. They don't care if he's a sterile failure. They only need his title as the former Blackwood Alpha, instead of Lucian, the bastard son. To resurrect him, they used forbidden drugs, strictly banned even by the code. This drug forcibly drains his remaining marrow in exchange for fleeting, terrifying power. Sebastian's muscles began to swell unnaturally, but his eyes lost their last shred of humanity, turning a cloudy, dead gray. Inside the estate, I felt a sudden sharp pain. Lucian anxiously pulled me into his arms, his heartbeat resonating with mine. The two little ones inside were kicking wildly, giving us a warning. Nearby, alarms blared. The man who should have frozen to death in the wasteland is back. He is no longer a man, but a monster filled with hate. The alarm was still ringing in our ears when Sebastian actually resurrected. Clad in silver armor, he shouted about reclaiming his wife and child. But Lucian and I smelled it. The nauseating smell of drugs and rotting flesh masked beneath expensive cologne.
Eleanor is carrying my seed. This is the firstborn of the Blackwood house. Lucian is just a lowly thief.
He presented forged timeline evidence, exploiting the pack's obsession with firstborn rights to incite the ignorant young wolves. Public opinion began to waver because, in their eyes, Sebastian truly looked like a powerful alpha now. Don't dirty your hands, Lucian. That's not an alpha. It's just a balloon filled with drugs. Lucian glanced at me, instantly understanding. His killing intent melted into a cold smile of absolute complicity. We are going to personally pop this balloon at their so-called public confrontation.
Come with me, or watch this bastard die on the operating table.
Lucian and I exchanged a look, simultaneously flashing a mocking smile. Are you sure your blood is still red? To prove that so-called firstborn right, the Blackwood clan elders forced a blood test. But they had long ago rigged the Grail. A specific solvent that makes any wolf's blood appear to merge, regardless of kinship. They thought they had won, that they could use this crude trick to tie the divine bloodline Lucian and I created to Sebastian's name. To deal with liars, you don't need blood. You only need the truth. Before everyone, I tossed that page of the code, mended with gold thread, directly into the boiling Grail. The code has a self-correcting consciousness. It refuses to coexist with inferior, drug-tainted, rot blood. The exploding shards flew out, slicing through Sebastian's exquisite fake face. See that? It's not that I don't recognize him. The ancestors' laws just threw up. Sebastian stared in horror at his hands covered in green pus. His meticulously maintained alpha aura collapsed completely in that instant. Lucian drew an inch of his blade, coldly pronouncing,
"The drug is wearing off."
Every second after the Grail shattered was like slow torture for Sebastian. The backlash of Fury Drug is crueler than any poison. It's reclaiming all the vitality it advanced him. Sebastian's bones are softening. His muscles are liquefying. Sitting in the control room, Lucian and I watched like it was a farce, admiring his struggle in the mire, even clawing at his own chest. Tiffany actually came back. She was picked up in the wasteland by the elders and became the last servant to maintain this living corpse's dignity. But when she smelled that unmaskable stench, I saw the last flicker of hope in her eyes go out. This was a choice Lucian and I gave Tiffany. To rot in the dirt with this melting monster, or to personally rip off this veil and trade it for her own pathetic survival. I know Tiffany well. Her kind will always choose the path that benefits them most. Lucian hugged me from behind, planting a satisfied kiss on my ear. Sebastian, your true love is coming to see you off for the last time. The bitter winter has lasted 6 months, and the double heartbeats in my womb grow stronger. Tiffany's video was the straw that broke the camel's back. The horn of final battle sounds. The Blackwood clan elders think they can force me to hand over the North with military might. Lucian wasn't in a hurry to draw his sword. He just stared down coldly, as if looking at dead men already in their graves. I don't intend to fight a pack of werewolves blinded by lies. My king and I only intend to show them a play. On the screen was high-definition footage from Sebastian's tent last night. The man who looked majestic days ago was now writhing like a flayed worm on a pus-soaked bed. Lucian even let out a contemptuous sneer, his voice echoing through the amplifiers. Werewolves worship absolute power. When they saw the god they swore allegiance to was actually an addict who couldn't even control his bladder, Lucian drew his heavy sword, pointing it down. His pressure sent the entire snowfield into a deathly silence.
You sent us to die for a monster bleeding green pus! Liars!
His withdrawal hit its peak. The man, now completely feral, had lost all human reason. Lucian pulled me behind him, a flash of excited ferocity in his eyes. The show begins, everyone. Enjoy the mutual slaughter of the old order. This is the consequence of trading life for forbidden goods. The elders created an uncontrollable monster, and now they are being devoured by their own creation. Lucian watched the slaughter coldly, his hand clamped firmly on my shoulder, giving me solid support. Just then, my water broke. The 2 little ones inside me couldn't wait to witness this funeral. Lucian had likely never been this panicked in his life. He scooped me up, his arms trembling violently. Don't go. This filth doesn't deserve to die by your blade. I took a deep breath, releasing the purple gold dominance of the matriarchal bloodline, an absolute command carved deep into our genes. Kneel. Lucian strode over his back with me in his arms, not even looking back.
To welcome our new king.
Crossing the Mad King's back, we moved toward life, but also toward extreme agony. The cost of birthing double-hearted heirs is massive. Outside, Lucian wasn't just anxiously pacing like a normal expectant father. He leaned against the door, nails digging deep into the metal frame.
Eleanor, my queen. If it hurts, hold on to me.
That was the mark we finished in the back seat. A true mate bond means whatever pain I suffer inside, he must share outside. He closed his eyes, shaking violently, as if those bone-crushing pains were his own. And that man who once tried to steal the child with fake bloodlines sits like dead meat, unresponsive. He feels no pain because he never truly loved.
Look closely, Sebastian. This is a real alpha. He'll kill for her. And bleed for her, too.
The second Lucian heard the cry, he collapsed by the door. A look of post-disaster ecstasy on his face. My era has arrived. With that cry, the delivery room doors slowly opened. It was a baby girl with purple gold pupils. Lucian cried the moment she was brought out. This ruthless wolf king wept like a child, hands shaking, too afraid to touch the golden silk. The sound from the amplifier shocked the room. Thump, 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 thump. Not twins, the imperial double heart. Lucian looked up, eyes filled with awe. She is our god. Lucian wanted that man to see clearly what a true heir is before he died. Perfect genes attract each other. Garbage genes are eliminated. Sebastian stared at those purple gold pupils, his ego crumbling into dust under the suffocating pressure. That cry pierced straight through Sebastian's eardrums. Lucian leaned against the cage, whispering coldly,
"Don't die too fast. Your exhibition is just beginning."
As the exhibition began, the smoke of battle gradually cleared. Rebellion quelled, the Blackwood clan elders were permanently dissolved. I smashed all the old rules. As for Sebastian, the wolf in him is gone. Lucian offered to sever his head, but I refused. We decided to place him in the brightest part of the clan, as an eternal warning. Every day, the lowest slaves tossed cheap nutrient paste through the vents, keeping him alive, but begging for death. He used to love locking me in the basement. Now, my king and I walk past him every day, hand in hand. Lucian deliberately stops to kiss the back of my hand in front of him.
Don't look, sweetie. That's a bad thing. That forgot who it was.
This agony of being abandoned by the clan and spat upon by posterity is the ultimate torture for him. My revenge is complete.
What's through there?
For a puddle of mud, the deepest despair is watching the woman he looked down on become a god in another man's arms.
Let's go, Lucian. Don't keep our daughter waiting.
Sebastian used to call Leo the cripple, as if he were the heaviest burden in the world. But at this moment, the Wolf King who makes the entire clan tremble is crouching before Leo, looking him straight in the eye.
Leo, your sister has been crowned. From today, you are the high officer of this territory. Your legs may not walk, but this sword will walk for you. You are my brother. Understood?
Leaning against the pillar, my eyes grew warm. At this moment, what I surrendered to him was not just my body, but my very last defense. By day, we accepted the homage of the entire clan from the high dais, building a new order of absolute power, free from tyranny. But when night falls and the doors close, Lucian reverts to that consort knight, so careful he barely breathes. He placed the crown on the table and looked at me in the mirror, his eyes still holding that morbid devotion.
Your Majesty, does your wound still hurt?
I smiled. Outside, I am the only god. But in our bed, I don't need a knight who only knows how to kneel. Lucian, there is no crown here. Now, be your wolf. Bite me. His restraint shattered instantly, pinning me heavily into the mattress. This ultimate surrender, free from calculation and defense, Sebastian will never understand this. The new order brought not only peace, but prosperity. 3 years have passed. Under Lucian and my rule, the North has become the most prosperous werewolf territory. Today, we came to inspect the mines. But I didn't expect to see a familiar face here. A woman in rags, her face covered in frostbite, rushed out like a mad dog to block the car, trying to use her old seduction tricks on the guards for food. It was Tiffany. In just 3 years, she aged like a 50-year-old. Her proud, youthful body couldn't even buy her a moldy piece of bread here.
Clear this trash away. She's polluting the Queen's eyes.
Lucian didn't want this woman in my sight for even a second. I pushed his gun down. Not out of pity, but because she wasn't worthy. Eat up, Tiffany. After all, you don't even have the right to be hated by me anymore. The window rolled up, shutting out her cries. For a woman who hung her dignity on a man's belt, being given charity like a dog is her eternal hell. Compared to the ashes rotting in the soil, life is the most exuberant force. Aurora has grown up. Not only did she inherit my purple-gold pupils, but she flawlessly blended the feral fighting spirit in Lucian's bones. That stupid wolf clearly forgot that this 3-year-old girl has 2 beating hearts. Aurora didn't even take a step back. She just widened her eyes and unleashed the first dominance roar of her life at the adult male wolf.
Sister, you truly built a perfect generation.
The Wolf Clan is saved. Your Majesty, this is the future we traded our lives for.
The veteran hung his life's most glorious cross medal around my 3-year-old daughter's neck. It was the complete submission of an old era to the new order.
Remember, my little wolf, if anyone dares steal what's yours, Don't hold back. Tear them to pieces. Daddy will bury the bodies.
I looked at the father and daughter, the sunlight spilling across the lawn. This family, once cursed to end without an heir, now possessed the sharpest fangs in the world. As time passes, the wreckage of the old era must be cleared. 3 years have passed. The city needs to expand. And this living specimen, once used to warn the clan, has lost its exhibition value. Lucian, Aurora, and I, hand in hand, happened to pass by. The thing inside the glass box no longer resembled a human in any way.
Mommy, what's that ugly, stinky thing?
The monster heard the word, Mommy. His rotted brain seemed to catch something. His cloudy eyes locked onto Aurora, the supreme heir who was supposed to be his. He opened his mouth, seeming to want to call my name. I didn't even have the desire to stop walking. I simply covered my daughter's eyes gently and, in the calmest tone, delivered the final verdict to this former alpha. That's just dust from the old era. Don't look, it will dirty your eyes. The bulldozer rolled over the ruins. Sebastian didn't die of hunger or cold. He died because in this perfect new world, we don't even have the time to hate him anymore. He has been utterly forgotten. When that speck of dust was finally wiped away, our empire finally welcomed its most glorious moment. Today is the celebration of a new epic. I stand upon this throne, where once only male alphas could tread, looking down at my empire. Below me stand my female kin, once bullied, now fully armed. Below me stands the fiercely loyal Northern Guard. And the most powerful tyrant in my life now stands beside me as my most loyal knight, never leaving my side for a second. The way he looks at me is still like the first time we met in the snow, filled with a fervor and submission enough to burn everything down. As long as the she-wolf remains, the fire of the pack will never extinguish. I didn't put it on. I placed it gently upon the matriarch code. Because I no longer need a piece of cold metal to prove myself. I, Eleanor Reed, am the crown itself. Is this a man's world? No, it was just a playground we temporarily lent them. Now the game is over. The mother has returned. With the empire stabilized, I could finally lay down the heavy scepter for a moment. The dust has settled, and the new code has been in place for 3 years. Lucian finally forced me to drop all my state affairs under the guise of making up for our delayed honeymoon. In this deep, northern, snowy mountain, where even passing birds freeze, he's personally roasting venison for me, as skilled as a true hunter. Who could imagine that the tyrant whose single word makes the whole wolf clan tremble outside now has flour on his apron?
If on that snowy night 10 years ago, you hadn't given me that half loaf of bread and that coin, I'd probably be just a pile of dry bones in this snowfield right now.
As he spoke, He pulled out the old, polished gold coin from his inner pocket. For 10 years, he survived countless brushes with death by clinging to this very coin. He always says I am his god. But to me, this stupid wolf is the most stubborn believer in the world. Listen, I recall your leave of absence. Said we were here to vacation, not to go into heat. He looked up, and those golden pupils instantly ignited with a highly dangerous fire that only appears when he looks at me.
Vacation? My queen, my 10 years of hunger can't be satisfied with just a few pieces of venison.
The blizzard outside grew fiercer, but inside this cabin with just the two of us, a fire hot enough to melt glaciers had just begun to burn. After the southern families completely surrendered, they sent a new liaison envoy. The boy is barely in his 20s, his eyes full of fanatical worship for me. Even while reporting state affairs, his eyes practically stick to me. Of course, a certain fiercely possessive wolf king absolutely cannot tolerate this kind of worship. Lucian didn't even wait to be announced. He just walked right in, plain as day. The terrifying aura of a top-tier alpha instantly dropped the hall's temperature to freezing. The young envoy, who was talking so fluently a moment ago, shut his mouth in terror, turning pale.
Wolf King.
I almost laughed out of anger. This guy wasn't just kissing me. He was baring his sharp fangs at every male who dared to approach me.
Finished your report? If so, get lost. Her time is mine now.
Watching the young envoy flee in panic, I helplessly pinched Lucian's palm. You're jealous of a child? Lucian scooped me up in his arms and walked straight toward the back chambers.
I said it before. Any male who dares to look at you for too long, I will personally gouge his eyes out.
Our story flowed through these trivial jealousies, and before we knew it, time had quietly marched on. 15 years have passed. Time hasn't left much of a mark on my face, but it has sculpted Aurora into the most perfect blade. She possesses the wisdom of the matriarch, and flawlessly inherited the cruelty and strength in Lucian's bones. Across the entire wolf clan, there is no young alpha who can last more than 3 moves against this double-hearted empress. Today is her coming of age, and it is time to fully hand this territory over to her. Lucian walked over and solemnly handed the black, heavy sword, which had accompanied him for half his life, to his daughter. Aurora, are you ready to bear the weight of this crown?
Mother, I will ensure that this land forever echoes only with our rules.
The power has been handed over, but our story will never be buried by time. From the defective piece who took a slap to the face, to the Queen Mother looking down at the Empire today, I didn't just shred that man's world. I dragged the craziest beast with me and built a new era. where only the Empress gives the orders.
No matter how many years pass, you will always be my god.